Welcome to Sleepy Science Hub. As you settle in tonight, let me know where in the world and at what time you're watching. Perhaps you're tucked beneath soft covers in a quiet bedroom, or maybe you're listening through gentle headphones as the evening settles around you. Wherever you are, whatever time zone cradles you, you found your way here seeking understanding about one of the most mysterious and beautiful experiences your mind creates every single night. Now, get comfortable. Adjust your pillow just right, let your shoulders drop, and take a slow, deep breath. Tonight, we're going to explore the extraordinary world that unfolds behind your closed eyes, the realm of dreams. And as we journey through this landscape together, you might just find yourself drifting into that very world we're discovering. Long before your head touches the pillow, long before your eyes close for the night, your brain has already begun its quiet preparation for the magical theater of dreams that will soon unfold. This preparation doesn't happen suddenly or dramatically. It's a gentle, gradual process that begins hours before you even think about sleep, like a theater company slowly setting up for an evening performance, adjusting lights, arranging sets, and preparing costumes for the extraordinary show that will soon begin. As the sun begins its descent toward the horizon, and the quality of light around you subtly shifts, something remarkable starts happening deep within your brain. The pineal gland, that small, pine cone-shaped structure nestled in the center of your mind, begins to detect these changes in illumination. Even if you're indoors, even if you're not consciously aware of the fading daylight, this ancient timekeeper is monitoring every subtle shift in the light spectrum that reaches your eyes, preparing your neural networks for the transition from the logical, linear thinking of day to the fluid, creative consciousness that will soon give birth to dreams. Your brain's neurotransmitter systems begin their evening dance, a carefully choreographed shift in the chemical messengers that will soon transform your waking consciousness into something far more mysterious and wonderful. Serotonin, that neurotransmitter so important for mood and well-being during your waking hours, begins to decrease as evening approaches. This isn't a malfunction or a problem. It's an essential part of preparing your mind for the different type of consciousness that dreams require. As serotonin levels gently decline, other chemical changes begin to unfold throughout your brain. Norepinephrine, the neurotransmitter associated with alertness and attention, also starts to reduce its activity. These chemicals, so crucial for keeping you focused and aware during the day, must step back to allow the dream state to emerge. It's as if the stagehands of consciousness are dimming the lights on daytime awareness to prepare for the entirely different illumination that will soon bathe your dreaming mind. Meanwhile, acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter that will play a starring role in your upcoming dreams, begins to shift its patterns of activity. During your waking hours, acetylcholine helps with attention and learning, but as evening approaches, it prepares for a new function. It will soon become one of the primary conductors of your dream experiences, helping to create the vivid, often bizarre narratives that will unfold in your sleeping mind. Your prefrontal cortex, that region of your brain responsible for critical thinking, planning, and logical analysis, begins to show the first signs of its evening wind down. This area, which has been working diligently all day to help you make decisions, solve problems, and navigate the complexities of waking life, starts to reduce its vigilant oversight. This reduction isn't immediate. It's a gradual relaxation of the mental muscles that have been keeping your thoughts organized and rational throughout the day. As your prefrontal cortex begins to relax its control, other areas of your brain start to show increased activity. The limbic system, home to your emotions and memories, begins to take on a more prominent role in your mental landscape. The hippocampus, crucial for memory formation, starts to shift into a different mode of operation, preparing to sort through the day's experiences in ways that will soon seem strange and wonderful when they emerge in your dreams. Your visual cortex, that part of your brain responsible for processing the images you see during waking hours, begins an interesting transformation. Throughout the day, this region has been busy interpreting the constant stream of visual information flowing through your eyes. But as evening approaches, it starts to prepare for a different kind of work. Soon, it it will be creating images entirely from internal sources, generating the vivid, often impossible landscapes and scenarios that populate your dreams. The default mode network of your brain, a collection of brain regions that become active when you're not focused on specific tasks, begins to show changes in its patterns of activity. During the day, this network is involved in self-reflection, remembering the past, and imagining the future. But as your brain prepares for sleep, this network starts to shift into the mode that will soon give rise to the free-flowing associations and unexpected connections that characterize dream thinking. Your brain's temporal lobes, regions involved in processing emotions and memories, begin to show increased connectivity with other brain areas. This enhanced communication between different brain regions is part of the preparation for the remarkable blending of memories, emotions, and imagination that will soon occur in your dreams. Connections that seem impossible during waking hours, between people from different time periods in your life, between places that exist thousands of miles apart, between emotions and images that have no logical relationship, begin to form more easily. Even your brain's language centers start to prepare for the different type of communication that will occur in dreams. The areas responsible for logical, structured communication begin to relax their rigid organization, while the regions involved in metaphorical thinking and symbolic representation become more active. This shift prepares your mind for the often symbolic, metaphorical nature of dream communication, where a simple image might represent complex emotions or where conversations might convey meanings far beyond their literal words. Your memory systems undergo their own evening transformation as they prepare for the night's work ahead. The hippocampus begins to replay and review the day's experiences, but not in the linear, organized way you might expect. Instead, memories start to form new associations, connecting with older memories in ways that will soon seem perfectly natural in your dreams, but would appear bizarre in waking consciousness. Temperature regulation in your brain begins to shift as well, as your core body temperature starts its gentle evening decline. This cooling isn't just about preparing for sleep. It's also about creating the optimal conditions for the neural activity that will soon generate your dreams. Different brain regions operate most efficiently at slightly different temperatures, and the evening cooling helps optimize the conditions for dream generation. Your brain's glial cells, the support cells that maintain and protect your neurons, begin their own preparations for the night ahead. These cells will soon play crucial roles in the waste removal and maintenance functions that occur during sleep, but they also help create the optimal chemical environment for dream generation. They begin to adjust the concentrations of various ions and neurotransmitters in the spaces around your neurons, fine-tuning the brain's chemistry for the remarkable experiences that will soon unfold. The blood flow patterns in your brain start to shift as evening progresses. Regions that have been heavily used during the day begin to show reduced blood flow, while other areas that will soon become active in dream generation start to receive increased circulation. This redistribution of brain resources is like a theater company moving equipment from storage areas to center stage, preparing the tools and materials needed for the performance that will soon begin. Your brain's electrical activity begins to show the first subtle changes that herald the approach of sleep and dreams. The rapid, irregular brain waves of active waking consciousness start to slow and become more rhythmic. These changes are so gradual that you don't notice them consciously, but they represent the beginning of your brain's transformation from the electrical patterns of waking thought to the very different patterns that will soon generate dreams. As all these preparations unfold throughout your evening hours, you might notice subtle changes in your own experience. Your thoughts might become less focused, more wandering. You might find yourself daydreaming more easily, or notice that your attention drifts from task to task more readily than it did earlier in the day. These aren't signs of fatigue or inattention. They're evidence that your brain is beginning its transformation toward the state that will soon give birth to dreams. The preparation for dreaming is so fundamental to brain function that it begins hours before you actually fall asleep. Every sunset triggers this remarkable transformation, Every evening sets in motion the complex neural changes that will soon allow your mind to create worlds that exist nowhere but in the theater of your sleeping consciousness. As you rest there now, listening to these words, these very preparations are likely unfolding within your own brain, setting the stage for the extraordinary journey into dreams that awaits you. As the evening's preparations reach their completion and sleep finally claims you, something extraordinary begins to happen in your brain. You're about to cross one of the most mysterious thresholds in human consciousness, the boundary between the logical, linear world of waking thought and the fluid, impossible realm of dreams. This crossing isn't abrupt or jarring. Instead, it's a gentle transformation, like stepping from solid ground into warm, buoyant water that lifts and carries you into an entirely different dimension of experience. The transition begins in the earliest stages of sleep, during those first light phases when consciousness hasn't quite departed but no longer maintains its firm grip on reality. Your brain waves, which have been gradually slowing throughout the evening, now begin to show the first distinctive patterns that mark the approach of dreams. Theta waves, cycling at about 4 to 7 times per second, start to dominate your neural activity, creating the electrical foundation upon which your first dream experiences will soon be built. In these initial moments of sleep, your brain begins what scientists call the hypnagogic state, that mysterious borderland between waking and sleeping where the first whispers of dream consciousness begin to emerge. You might experience fleeting images that seem to come from nowhere, brief sounds that have no external source, or sudden insights that feel profound but fade quickly from memory. These aren't quite dreams yet, but they're the first stirrings of your brain's remarkable ability to create experiences entirely from internal sources. Your visual cortex, freed from the constant input of your now closed eyes, begins to generate its first spontaneous images. These early visions are often simple, geometric patterns that shift and flow, colors that pulse and change, or basic shapes that appear and disappear like reflections on moving water. Your brain is essentially testing its dream creation systems, making sure all the neural pathways are functioning properly before the more complex dream narratives begin. The logical oversight of your prefrontal cortex continues to diminish during this transition phase. This region, which works so hard during waking hours to keep your thoughts organized and rational, gradually reduces its activity, allowing other brain regions to take the lead in creating your internal experiences. This reduction in prefrontal activity is crucial for dream formation. Without it, the bizarre, impossible scenarios that characterize dreams simply couldn't emerge. As your prefrontal cortex steps back, your limbic system begins to take center stage in your mental landscape. The emotional centers of your brain become more active and influential, preparing to infuse your upcoming dreams with the feelings and emotional memories that will make them so vivid and meaningful. The amygdala, your brain's emotion processor, starts to connect more freely with memory centers, creating the emotional richness that will soon characterize your dream experiences. Your hippocampus, the brain's primary memory formation center, undergoes a fascinating transformation as you cross the dream threshold. During waking hours, this structure works to create organized, sequential memories of your experiences. But as you enter the dream state, the hippocampus begins to access memories in a completely different way. Instead of retrieving memories in their original contexts, it starts to extract fragments, pieces of experiences, emotions, and sensations that will soon be recombined in the impossible mixtures that populate your dreams. The communication between different brain regions becomes increasingly fluid and creative as you move deeper into the transition toward dreams. Connections that would be suppressed during waking consciousness begin to form freely. Your brain starts to link memories from different time periods, emotions from unrelated experiences, and sensations from completely separate contexts. This neural crosstalk is what allows dreams to blend your childhood bedroom with your current workplace, or to feature conversations with people who have never actually met. Your brain's default mode network, which was beginning to shift during the evening preparation phase, now enters full dream preparation mode. This network, active when your mind wanders during waking hours, becomes increasingly disconnected from external reality and increasingly focused on internal processing. It's as if your brain is turning its attention completely inward, preparing to create experiences that come entirely from within. The neurotransmitter changes that began hours ago now reach their full expression as you cross the dream threshold. Acetylcholine, which will soon orchestrate many of your dream experiences, begins to show the irregular patterns of activity that characterize dream states. Meanwhile, serotonin and norepinephrine continue their decline, further reducing the logical constraints that normally govern your thinking. Your temporal lobes, which house many of your emotional memories, become increasingly active as you approach the first true dreams. These regions begin to access stored emotional experiences and start to combine them in new ways. A feeling of joy from a childhood birthday party might begin to connect with the visual memory of a recent sunset, or the emotional tone of a meaningful conversation might start to blend with the memory of a favorite song. The visual processing systems in your brain undergo remarkable changes as you cross into dream consciousness. Your primary visual cortex, which normally processes images from your eyes, begins to activate spontaneously, creating images without any external input. Secondary visual areas, responsible for more complex visual processing, start to generate increasingly sophisticated imagery. Faces, landscapes, objects, and scenarios that seem completely real despite being created entirely within your sleeping brain. Your language centers prepare for the unique communication style of dreams. The brain regions responsible for literal, logical language begin to reduce their influence, while areas involved in metaphorical and symbolic thinking become more active. This shift allows dreams to communicate through symbols, emotions, and associations rather than literal meanings. In dreams, a simple image might represent complex feelings, or a brief conversation might convey deep insights about your life. The motor control systems in your brain undergo fascinating changes as you cross the dream threshold. The areas responsible for planning and executing movements remain active. You'll soon dream about running, flying, dancing, or performing countless other actions. But the final pathways that would actually move your muscles begin to be suppressed. This developing paralysis is protective, ensuring that when you dream about movement, your physical body remains safely still. Your auditory processing systems begin their own transformation as external sounds fade in importance and internal sound generation becomes possible. Your brain prepares to create the voices, music, and sound effects that will populate your dreams. These dream sounds can be incredibly realistic. You might hear voices so clearly that you're convinced someone is actually speaking to you, or music so vivid that you wake up with a melody playing perfectly in your mind. As you cross deeper into the dream threshold, your sense of time begins its dramatic transformation. The brain regions responsible for temporal sequencing, keeping track of what happens when start to relax their organization. This allows dreams to jump freely between time periods, to compress hours of experience into moments, or to stretch brief encounters into elaborate, lengthy adventures. Your sense of self begins to shift as well during this transition. The brain networks responsible for maintaining your consistent sense of identity start to become more flexible. This flexibility allows you to experience dreams from different perspectives, to become different people in your dreams, or to observe yourself as if from outside your own body. The rigid boundaries of waking identity begin to dissolve, preparing for the fluid self-representation that characterizes dream consciousness. Memory consolidation processes begin to influence the emerging dream content as you cross this threshold. Your brain starts to access recent experiences not to remember them accurately, but to use them as raw material for dream creation. Fragments of conversations from earlier in the day might begin to blend with memories of past relationships. Visual impressions from your recent activities might start to combine with emotional memories from years ago. The crossing into dream consciousness isn't complete until you reach the first REM period of the night. But already, in these transitional moments, your brain has begun the remarkable transformation that will soon allow you to experience vivid, impossible worlds created entirely from the neural activity of your sleeping mind. Every system is preparing for the extraordinary feat of consciousness that dreams represent, the ability to experience rich, complex, emotionally meaningful realities without any input from the external world. As you drift deeper into sleep, crossing this mysterious threshold between waking and dreaming, your brain completes its transformation from the logical processor of daytime consciousness to the creative storyteller of the night. Soon, very soon, the first true dreams will begin, and you'll find yourself experiencing adventures, emotions, and insights that exist nowhere but in the remarkable theater of your sleeping mind. And now, as you sink deeper into the embrace of sleep, something truly magical begins to unfold within your brain. You've crossed the threshold from waking consciousness, and now the theater of your mind prepares to raise its curtain on the first act of the night's dream performance. This isn't a sudden, dramatic opening. It's more like the gentle illumination of a stage as the house lights slowly dim, revealing a world that has been waiting patiently in the darkness for its moment to come alive. The transition into your first REM period of the night marks the true beginning of the dreaming experience. Your brain waves, which have been cycling through the slower patterns of non-REM sleep, suddenly shift into the rapid, complex patterns that characterize REM sleep. These brain waves look remarkably similar to those of waking consciousness, yet you remain deeply asleep, lost in a world that exists entirely within the neural networks of your mind. Your eyes, behind their closed lids, begin the rapid movements that give this stage of sleep its name. These darting, dancing movements aren't random. They're your eyes tracking the visual experiences of your dreams, following characters and objects, watching scenes unfold in the theater of your sleeping mind. It's as if your eyes are watching a movie, but the screen exists only in your neural activity, and the story being told is one that your brain is writing, directing, and producing all at the same time. The stage upon which your dreams will unfold begins to take shape as different brain regions coordinate their activities in entirely new ways. Your visual cortex, no longer receiving input from your closed eyes, begins to generate its own imagery. But this isn't the simple, geometric imagery of the transition period. Now your brain starts to create complex, detailed visual environments that can be more vivid and realistic than anything you experience while awake. These dream environments often begin with familiar elements, perhaps a room from your childhood home, or a street you walk regularly, or a place you visited recently. But as the dream stage takes shape, these familiar elements begin to transform in impossible ways. Rooms might be larger or smaller than they actually are, doors might lead to places they never led in reality, and the laws of physics that govern the waking world begin to bend and flex according to the logic of dreams. Your hippocampus, the brain's memory center, begins to contribute to the dream stage by accessing stored memories in completely unprecedented ways. Instead of retrieving memories as complete, accurate records of past experiences, your hippocampus starts to extract fragments, a feeling from one memory, a visual element from another, an emotional tone from a third. These fragments are then blended together by other brain regions to create the hybrid environments and situations that populate your dreams. The emotional centers of your brain, particularly your amygdala and other limbic structures, begin to infuse the emerging dream stage with feeling and meaning. They don't just add emotions to an already existing dream scene. They help determine what kind of scene will emerge in the first place. If your emotional centers are processing feelings of anxiety or stress, the dream stage might manifest as a challenging environment, perhaps a maze-like building or an unfamiliar place where you feel lost. If they're processing feelings of joy or contentment, the stage might appear as a beautiful, welcoming environment that fills you with peace. Your temporal lobes begin to populate the dream stage with characters, people who will play roles in the unfolding dream narrative. These characters might be exact representations of people you know, or they might be composite figures that blend features and characteristics from multiple real people. Sometimes, your brain creates entirely fictional characters for your dreams, building them from pieces of faces you've seen, personalities you've encountered, and voices you've heard throughout your life. The frontal regions of your brain, while less active than during waking hours, still contribute to the dream stage by providing a sense of narrative structure. Even though dream logic differs dramatically from waking logic, your dreams still tend to have protagonists, conflicts, and resolutions. Your frontal cortex provides just enough organizational structure to create stories, even if those stories follow rules that would seem impossible or absurd in the waking world. Language centers in your brain begin to generate the dialogue and internal monologue that will characterize your dream experience. The conversations you have in dreams can be remarkably realistic, with complex exchanges of ideas and emotions. Your brain creates not just your own dream voice, but the voices of other dream characters, complete with appropriate accents, speech patterns, and emotional tones. Your brain's default mode network, which was preparing for this moment during the transition into sleep, now begins its full dream state activity. This network becomes the primary conductor of your dream experience, weaving together inputs from memory centers, emotional processors, sensory generators, and narrative structures to create the coherent experience of dreaming. It's like a master filmmaker who takes all the raw footage provided by different brain regions and edits it into a flowing, meaningful story. The chemical environment of your brain during this opening of the dream theater is unlike anything that occurs during waking consciousness. Acetylcholine floods your neural networks, creating the conditions necessary for the vivid, often bizarre experiences of dreams. This neurotransmitter doesn't just enable dreams. It helps determine their character, contributing to the heightened emotions, vivid imagery, and fluid narratives that make dreams so memorable and meaningful. Meanwhile, the neurotransmitters that normally keep your thinking logical and organized, particularly norepinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine, remain at very low levels. This chemical environment allows your brain to make connections and associations that would be impossible during waking consciousness. In dreams, your childhood teacher might appear in your current workplace, or you might find yourself having a conversation with a historical figure you've only read about. Your motor cortex begins to generate the movement commands that will allow you to act within your dreams. You might run, jump, fly, dance, or perform any number of actions in your dream world. Your brain creates these movements by activating the same neural pathways used for real movement, but the commands are prevented from reaching your muscles by the paralysis mechanisms that protect you during REM sleep. This allows you to experience vivid, realistic movement in your dreams while your physical body remains safely still. The auditory regions of your brain start to create the soundscape of your dreams. This might include background noises that set the scene, perhaps the sound of wind if you're dreaming of being outdoors, or the hum of conversation if you're dreaming of being in a crowded place. Your brain also generates specific sounds, voices, music, environmental sounds that contribute to the realism and emotional impact of your dream experiences. Time perception in your dreams begins to operate according to entirely different rules than waking time. Your brain's temporal processing centers become more flexible, allowing dream events to unfold at whatever pace serves the dream narrative best. A complex dream adventure that seems to last for hours might actually occur in just a few minutes of REM sleep, while a brief dream conversation might feel like it extends for a long, leisurely afternoon. Your sense of self in the dream begins to take shape as well, though it may be quite different from your waking identity. You might experience dreams from your current perspective, seeing yourself as you are now. But you might also find yourself viewing the dream from the perspective of yourself at a different age, or even from the perspective of someone else entirely. Your brain's self-representation networks become fluid and flexible, allowing for these shifts in identity and perspective. The spatial processing centers of your brain begin to create the three-dimensional environments in which your dreams will unfold. These dream spaces can be remarkably detailed and realistic, complete with proper perspective, lighting, and spatial relationships. Sometimes these spaces are accurate representations of real places, but often they're hybrid environments that combine elements from multiple locations or create entirely fictional spaces that somehow feel familiar and believable. As the theater of your mind completes its opening preparations, all these different brain systems begin to work together in perfect coordination. Memory provides the raw material, emotion provides the meaning and motivation, visual processing creates the imagery, auditory processing creates the sounds, motor processing enables action, and narrative processing weaves it all together into stories that can be profound, amusing, terrifying, or inspiring. The remarkable thing about this opening of the dream theater is that it happens effortlessly and automatically. You don't consciously direct or control the process. Your brain simply begins to create these rich, complex experiences as naturally as your heart beats or your lungs breathe. The technology of dream generation is built into the very architecture of your neural networks, refined over millions of years of evolution to serve functions we're only beginning to understand. This is the genius of the dreaming brain, its ability to create entire worlds, complete with sensory experiences, emotional content, narrative structure, and meaningful interactions, all from the spontaneous activity of neural networks. As the curtain rises on tonight's dream performance, your brain has transformed itself into the most sophisticated entertainment system ever created, one that will provide you with experiences that can be more vivid, more emotionally powerful, and more personally meaningful than any external entertainment could ever be. With the theater of your mind now fully illuminated and the stage set for the night's performance, something even more remarkable begins to unfold within your sleeping brain. You are about to witness the dream weaver at work, that mysterious aspect of your consciousness that takes the raw materials provided by your various brain systems and spins them into the intricate, often impossible narratives that we call dreams. This internal storyteller works with threads of memory, emotion, sensation, and imagination, weaving them together into tapestries of experience that can be more vivid and meaningful than any story told in the waking world. The dream weaver operates primarily through your brain's default mode network, but it draws upon resources from throughout your neural architecture. Like a master craftsperson who has access to an unlimited warehouse of materials, the dream weaver can select from every memory you've ever formed, every emotion you've ever felt, every sensation you've ever experienced, and every concept you've ever learned. But unlike a waking storyteller who must work within the constraints of logic and reality, the dream weaver is free to combine these elements in any way that serves the deeper purposes of the dreaming mind. The process begins with what neuroscientists call random activation, spontaneous firing of neurons throughout your brain that provides the initial sparks for which dream narratives will grow. These random neural events might activate a memory of your grandmother's kitchen, a feeling of anticipation you experienced last week, or a visual image of a blue bicycle you saw in passing yesterday. To your waking mind, these elements might seem completely unrelated, but the dream weaver sees connections and possibilities that logic alone could never perceive. As these initial elements emerge in your dream consciousness, the weaver begins to spin connections between them. Perhaps the memory of your grandmother's kitchen connects with the feeling of anticipation, creating a dream scene where you're waiting for something important to happen in a warm, familiar space. The blue bicycle might transform into a means of transportation that will take you to whatever it is you're anticipating, or it might become a symbol representing freedom or childhood innocence. The dream weaver works with what psychologists call condensation, the ability to compress multiple meanings, memories, and emotions into single dream elements. A person in your dream might simultaneously represent your actual friend, your relationship with authority figures in general, and your own desire for approval. A house in your dream might be your childhood home, your current residence, and an idealized notion of security and belonging all at the same time. This condensation allows dreams to carry far more meaning and emotional weight than their simple surface narratives might suggest. Your emotional memory systems provide the dream weaver with its most powerful materials. Emotions aren't just added to dreams as decorations. They often serve as the fundamental organizing principles around which entire dream narratives are constructed. If you're processing feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, the dream weaver might create scenarios where you're unprepared for an important test, lost in an unfamiliar place, or unable to complete a crucial task. If you're integrating feelings of love and connection, your dreams might feature joyful reunions, beautiful landscapes, or experiences of flying that represent emotional freedom and transcendence. The weaver demonstrates remarkable creativity in how it represents abstract concepts and emotions through concrete dream imagery. Anxiety might manifest as finding yourself in a maze-like building where the exits keep disappearing. Personal growth might appear as dreams of climbing mountains or learning to fly. Relationship conflicts might be represented through dreams of broken bridges or stormy weather. The dream weaver takes the intangible aspects of your inner life and gives them form, allowing you to experience and process complex emotions through vivid, sensory-rich narratives. Memory integration is one of the dream weaver's most sophisticated functions. Throughout your waking life, you accumulate countless experiences, many of which don't seem to connect to each other in obvious ways. But the dream weaver can perceive patterns and relationships that escape conscious awareness. It might weave together a conversation you had with a colleague last month, a childhood memory of learning to ride a bicycle, and a book you read recently, creating a dream narrative that reveals unexpected connections between these experiences and helps integrate them into your broader understanding of yourself and your life. The dream weaver also serves as your mind's experimental laboratory, creating scenarios that allow you to explore possibilities, test responses, and rehearse for future challenges. You might dream about having a difficult conversation with someone in your life, giving you the opportunity to explore different approaches and responses in the safe space of your dream consciousness. You might dream about succeeding at a challenge you're facing, helping to build confidence and prepare your mind for real-world success. The weaver's approach to character development in dreams is particularly fascinating. The people who appear in your dreams are often composite figures, created by blending characteristics from multiple real people in your life. Your brain might combine the appearance of one person with the personality traits of another and the emotional significance of a third, creating dream characters who feel familiar yet somehow different from anyone you know in waking life. These composite characters often represent different aspects of yourself or different types of relationships you have with others. Visual symbolism is another of the dream weaver specialties. Your sleeping brain has a remarkable ability to create visual metaphors that represent complex psychological and emotional states. Water often represents emotions or the unconscious mind. Calm lakes might indicate emotional peace, while turbulent oceans might represent emotional turmoil. Flying dreams often symbolize feelings of freedom, transcendence, or escape from limitations. Houses frequently represent the self, with different rooms corresponding to different aspects of your personality or different life experiences. The dream weaver also demonstrates remarkable skill in creating what researchers call dream bizarreness, those impossible elements that make dreams so distinctively different from waking experience. People might transform into other people mid-conversation. You might find yourself in multiple locations simultaneously, or objects might behave in ways that defy physical laws. These bizarre elements aren't mistakes or random glitches. They're sophisticated representations of psychological truths that can't be expressed through realistic narratives. Temporal manipulation is another tool in the dream weaver's repertoire. Dreams can jump freely between different time periods in your life, allowing you to have conversations between your current self and your childhood self, or to experience events from different decades as if they were happening simultaneously. This temporal flexibility allows the dream weaver to explore how past experiences continue to influence your present life and to help integrate different phases of your personal development. The weaver demonstrates exquisite sensitivity to your current life circumstances and psychological needs when crafting dream narratives. If you're facing a major life transition, Your dreams might feature themes of travel, transformation, or leaving familiar places behind. If you're working to resolve old emotional wounds, you might dream about childhood experiences or past relationships. If you're struggling with creative blocks, your dreams might present innovative solutions or new perspectives on old problems. Problem solving is one of the dream weaver's most practical functions. The unique cognitive state of REM sleep, with its reduced logical constraints and enhanced associative thinking, creates ideal conditions for breakthrough insights and creative solutions. The dream weaver can approach problems from angles that would never occur to your waking mind, combining information in novel ways and revealing solutions that emerge from the intersection of seemingly unrelated ideas. The weaver also serves important functions in emotional regulation and psychological healing. Dreams provide a safe space where you can experience and process intense emotions without real-world consequences. You might dream about confronting someone who has hurt you, allowing you to express anger or pain in a protective environment. You might dream about receiving comfort or support during difficult times, helping to restore emotional balance and resilience. Throughout all this creative work, the dream weaver maintains a delicate balance between meaning and mystery. Dreams are simultaneously deeply personal and universally human, carrying meanings that are specific to your individual life, while also tapping into archetypal themes and symbols that resonate across cultures and throughout human history. The weaver creates narratives that are uniquely yours while also connecting you to the broader human experience of dreaming. As you rest there now, perhaps beginning to drift toward your own dreams, the dream weaver within your mind is preparing to begin its nightly work. Soon, it will start gathering the threads of your recent experiences, your deepest emotions, your persistent concerns, and your hidden hopes, and begin weaving them into the stories that will unfold behind your closed eyes. Each dream will be a unique creation, crafted specifically for you, designed to serve the needs of your sleeping mind and to provide you with experiences that no external storyteller could ever imagine or create. And now, as your dreams begin to unfold in earnest, something truly extraordinary happens within your sleeping mind. The logical frameworks that govern your waking thoughts begin to dissolve, melting away like ice on a warm spring morning. This dissolution isn't a malfunction or a failure of your brain. It's a deliberate, sophisticated transformation that allows your dreaming mind to explore possibilities, make connections, and generate insights that would be impossible within the rigid constraints of waking logic. The prefrontal cortex, that region of your brain that works so diligently during waking hours to maintain logical consistency, critical thinking, and rational analysis, now reduces its activity to a whisper of its daytime intensity. This area, which normally serves as the editor and fact-checker of your conscious thoughts, steps back from its supervisory role, allowing other brain regions to express themselves freely without the constant oversight of logical scrutiny. As this logical oversight diminishes, your dreaming mind gains access to a completely different way of processing information and making connections. Instead of following the linear cause and effect reasoning that characterizes waking thought, your dream consciousness begins to operate through what researchers call hyperassociative thinking, a mode of mental processing where ideas, memories, and concepts connect through emotional resonance, symbolic similarity, and intuitive relationships rather than logical progression. This shift allows your dreams to make connections that would seem absurd or impossible to your waking mind. A person from your childhood might seamlessly transform into your current boss, not because there's any logical relationship between them, but because they both represent authority figures in your emotional landscape. A house might simultaneously be your childhood home, your current residence, and a place you've never actually been, because in the associative logic of dreams, these different spaces all carry similar emotional meanings of safety, belonging, or identity. The dissolution of logical constraints also affects how time operates in your dreams. Your waking mind understands time as linear and sequential. Events happen in a particular order, and cause must precede effect. But in dreams, temporal relationships become fluid and flexible. You might experience events from your past, present, and future as if they're happening simultaneously. You might have a conversation with yourself as a child, or find yourself in situations that blend different periods of your life in a seamless, though impossible, narratives. Spatial relationships also transform as logic dissolves in your dreams. The geography of dream worlds doesn't need to follow the rules of physics or architecture. Rooms can be larger on the inside than the outside. Doors can lead to places that couldn't possibly be behind them, and you might find yourself in locations that exist in impossible relationships to each other. Your brain creates these spatial impossibilities not out of confusion, but because spatial metaphors and dreams often represent psychological or emotional relationships rather than physical ones. The laws of physics themselves become suggestions rather than rules in your dreaming mind. You might find yourself flying through the air with perfect ease, breathing underwater without any need for air, or passing through solid objects as if they were made of mist. These violations of physical laws often represent psychological truths. Flying might represent feelings of freedom or transcendence. Breathing underwater might symbolize your ability to navigate emotional depths, and passing through barriers might represent your capacity to overcome obstacles. Identity becomes fluid in this logic-free environment as well. You might experience dreams where you're simultaneously yourself and someone else, or where you observe yourself from outside your own body. You might find yourself in the body of a different gender, a different age, or even a different species, experiencing the world from perspectives that would be impossible in waking life. These identity shifts often represent your mind's exploration of different aspects of yourself or different ways of being in the world. Communication in dreams operates by its own unique rules once logic dissolves. Conversations might convey profound meanings through simple words, or complex ideas might be transmitted without any words at all. You might understand languages you don't actually speak, or find that emotional content is communicated directly without the need for verbal expression. Dream communication often operates through symbolism and metaphor, where the meaning of an exchange transcends its literal content. The dissolution of logic also affects how your dreaming mind processes causality. In waking life, you understand that effects follow from specific causes, and you can usually trace the logical connections between events. But in dreams, events might happen without clear causes, or the relationship between cause and effect might be symbolic rather than literal. You might dream that your anxiety about a presentation at work manifests as finding yourself naked in public, even though there's no logical connection between these experiences. Emotional logic often replaces rational logic in dreams. Instead of events unfolding according to physical laws or social conventions, they might unfold according to emotional truths and psychological needs. If you're feeling overwhelmed in your waking life, your dream might place you in situations where you're literally drowning or being chased, regardless of whether there's any realistic reason for these scenarios to occur. The suspension of logical constraints allows your dreaming mind to engage in what psychologists call counterfactual thinking, imagining how things might be different if various circumstances were changed. You might dream about conversations with people who have died, allowing you to process unresolved feelings or imagine different outcomes to past relationships. You might dream about alternative life paths, exploring how your life might have unfolded if you had made different choices. This logic-free environment also enables your brain to process complex emotional and psychological material through symbolic representation. Abstract concepts like love, fear, growth, or transformation can take concrete form in dreams, allowing you to experience and explore these concepts in ways that purely intellectual analysis couldn't achieve. Fear might manifest as a pursuing monster, growth might appear as climbing a mountain, and transformation might be represented through metamorphosis or shape-shifting. The dissolution of logical constraints creates optimal conditions for creative problem-solving and innovation. Without the limiting influence of conventional thinking patterns, your dreaming mind can approach problems from entirely novel angles, combining information in ways that would never occur to your logical, waking consciousness. Many scientific discoveries, artistic innovations, and creative breakthroughs have emerged from insights that first appeared in dreams, where the suspension of logical limitations allowed new connections to form. Memory processing also benefits from this logic-free environment. Your dreaming mind can access and recombine memories in ways that reveal hidden patterns and connections. Experiences that seemed unrelated in waking consciousness might be woven together in dreams, revealing common themes or helping you understand how different life experiences have contributed to your current psychological state. The absence of logical oversight also allows your dreams to serve important emotional regulation functions. You can experience and process intense emotions in the safe space of dream consciousness, where the usual consequences of emotional expression don't apply. You might dream about expressing anger towards someone who has hurt you, experiencing the emotional release without the real-world complications that such expression might entail. This suspension of logic also enables your dreams to function as a kind of psychological laboratory where you can experiment with different ways of being, thinking, and responding to situations. You might dream about handling challenging situations with confidence and skill, helping to build psychological resources that you can draw upon in waking life. Or you might dream about exploring aspects of your personality that you normally keep hidden, gaining insights into parts of yourself that logical analysis might not reveal. The bizarre, impossible elements that characterize dreams aren't random or meaningless. They're sophisticated expressions of psychological truths that can only be represented through the logic-free language of dreams. A dream about your teeth falling out might represent anxieties about losing control or concerns about your appearance. A dream about being chased might symbolize avoidance patterns in your waking life. A dream about finding hidden rooms in your house might represent the discovery of unknown aspects of yourself. As logic continues to dissolve in your deepening dreams, your mind gains access to increasingly profound and meaningful experiences. The rational constraints that normally govern your thinking fade away, allowing your consciousness to explore territories that exist beyond the boundaries of ordinary awareness. In this space where logic has dissolved, your dreaming mind becomes free to create, explore, heal, and discover in ways that the logical mind alone could never achieve. This dissolution of logic isn't a loss of intelligence or sophistication. It's a transformation into a different kind of intelligence, one that operates through intuition, association, emotion, and symbolism rather than linear reasoning. It's an intelligence that can perceive connections invisible to logical analysis, solve problems through creative leaps rather than step-by-step deduction, and communicate truths that transcend the limitations of literal language. As you sink deeper into this logic-free realm of dreams, your mind prepares to embark on journeys that will be impossible yet meaningful, absurd yet profound, chaotic yet perfectly suited to the needs of your sleeping consciousness. In this space where logic has dissolved, anything becomes possible, and in that infinite possibility lies the true magic and power of the dreaming mind. Within the vast theater of your dreaming mind, as logic continues to dissolve and impossible narratives begin to unfold, something even more profound begins to emerge from the depths of your sleeping consciousness. Your emotions, no longer constrained by the rational oversight of waking thought, begin to orchestrate the most powerful and meaningful aspects of your dream experience. Like musicians in a grand symphony, each feeling, each emotional memory, each unprocessed experience begins to contribute its voice to the rich, complex composition that will give your dreams their depth, their intensity, and their lasting significance. Your emotional centers, particularly the limbic system with its intricate network of feeling and memory, become the primary conductors of your dream experience. The amygdala, that small but powerful structure that processes fear, joy, anger, and love, begins to infuse every aspect of your dream narrative with emotional content. But this isn't simply a matter of adding feelings to an already existing story. Your emotions actively shape and determine what kind of story will unfold, what characters will appear, and what scenarios will emerge from the vast possibilities of your sleeping mind. The emotional orchestra of dreams operates through what neuroscientists call affective priming, the process by which emotions influence the content and direction of mental activity. If your emotional centers are processing feelings of anxiety or stress, they prime your brain to create dream scenarios that explore these themes. You might find yourself in dreams where you're lost, unprepared, chased, or facing challenges that mirror your waking emotional state. But these aren't random nightmare scenarios. They're sophisticated explorations of your emotional landscape, designed to help you process, understand, and ultimately integrate difficult feelings. Conversely, if your emotional centers are resonating with feelings of love, joy, or contentment, they guide your dreams towards scenarios that explore and amplify these positive emotions. You might dream of reunions with loved ones, beautiful landscapes that fill you with peace, or achievements that reflect your deepest aspirations. These dreams serve not just as pleasant entertainment, but as emotional nourishment that can actually enhance your psychological well-being and resilience. The remarkable thing about emotional orchestration in dreams is how it can take abstract, internal feelings and give them concrete, experiential form. The feeling of being overwhelmed in your waking life might manifest in dreams as being caught in a flood, buried under an avalanche, or lost in a maze. The sensation of emotional breakthrough might appear as breaking free from confinement, reaching the top of a mountain, or learning to fly. Your dreaming mind creates these symbolic representations not just to express emotions, but to help you experience and work through them in ways that purely cognitive processing cannot achieve. Memory and emotion interweave in particularly sophisticated ways during dreams. Your emotional memory systems don't just contribute feelings to dream narratives. They help determine which memories will be accessed and how they will be combined. A feeling of nostalgia might call forth memories from childhood, but not as accurate historical records. Instead, these memories emerge transformed by the emotional tone of the dream, perhaps idealized, perhaps tinged with melancholy, perhaps blended with more recent experiences that carry similar emotional resonances. The emotional orchestra also conducts what psychologists call emotional memory consolidation, the process by which emotionally significant experiences are processed, integrated, and stored in long-term memory. During dreams, emotionally charged memories from recent days are rehearsed and reviewed, not in their original form, but in symbolic and metaphorical ways that help extract their deeper emotional significance. A difficult conversation with a friend might be replayed in dream form as a symbolic journey or challenge that represents the emotional dynamics of that relationship. Your brain's emotional processing systems use dreams as a safe laboratory for experiencing and working through intense feelings that might be too overwhelming to process fully during waking consciousness. You might dream about confronting someone who has hurt you, allowing you to experience and express anger or pain without real-world consequences. You might dream about losing someone important to you, giving your mind a chance to explore and process fears of abandonment or loss. These dream experiences can actually help build emotional resilience and coping capacity for real-world challenges. The temporal flexibility of dreams allows your emotional orchestra to bring together feelings from different periods of your life, creating opportunities for emotional integration and healing that wouldn't be possible in linear waking consciousness. You might dream about having a conversation with yourself as a child, allowing your adult understanding to comfort childhood fears. You might dream about interactions between people from different eras of your life, enabling you to see patterns and connections in your emotional development that span decades. Emotional contagion, the process by which emotions spread and influence other feelings, operates in unique ways during dreams. A single emotional tone can color an entire dream narrative, transforming neutral elements into emotionally charged symbols. A feeling of unease might make even pleasant dream settings feel somehow threatening, while a sense of joy might infuse ordinary dream scenarios with magical, transformative qualities. The emotional orchestra also conducts what researchers call mood regulation through dreams. If you go to sleep feeling sad, anxious, or angry, your dreams often work to process and transform these difficult emotions. You might experience dreams that allow you to express suppressed feelings, dreams that provide comfort and reassurance, or dreams that offer new perspectives on challenging situations. Many people report waking up feeling emotionally different than when they went to sleep, as if their dreams have done important emotional work during the night. Fear processing is one of the most important functions of the emotional orchestra in dreams. While nightmares might seem unpleasant or unwelcome, they actually serve crucial psychological functions. They allow your mind to rehearse responses to threatening situations in a safe environment, building courage and coping strategies that can be accessed if real threats arise. They also provide a way to process and integrate traumatic or difficult experiences, gradually reducing their emotional impact through repeated symbolic exploration. Love and attachment emotions create some of the most meaningful and nourishing dream experiences. Dreams about loved ones, whether living or deceased, allow you to maintain and strengthen emotional connections that are important to your psychological well-being. You might dream about receiving comfort from a parent, sharing joy with a friend, or experiencing the deep connection of romantic love. These dreams don't just reflect your relationships. They actively contribute to your capacity for love and connection by reinforcing the neural pathways associated with positive emotions and social bonding. Guilt and shame also receive special attention from the emotional orchestra of dreams. These difficult emotions often manifest in dreams as scenarios where you're judged, punished, or exposed in some way. But rather than simply tormenting you, these dreams often provide opportunities for self-forgiveness, perspective-taking, and moral growth. You might dream about making amends for past mistakes, receiving forgiveness from those you've wronged, or discovering that your self-criticism is harsher than warranted. The emotional orchestra conducts complex compositions around themes of personal growth and transformation. Dreams about overcoming obstacles, developing new abilities, or discovering hidden strengths often reflect your psychological development and aspirations. These dreams can actually contribute to personal growth by helping you envision new possibilities for yourself and building confidence in your capacity for change and development. Creativity and inspiration flow particularly freely when the emotional orchestra is conducting your dreams. The emotional intensity and symbolic richness of dreams create ideal conditions for innovative thinking and artistic inspiration. Many artists, writers, musicians, and inventors have reported receiving creative insights from their dreams, where emotions and images combine in novel ways that generate new ideas and perspectives. The social emotions, empathy, compassion, social connection, and understanding are beautifully expressed through dreams about relationships and social interactions. You might dream about understanding someone who has been difficult to relate to in waking life, or about healing conflicts that have been troubling you. These dreams can actually enhance your social and emotional intelligence by allowing you to explore different perspectives and responses in the safe space of dream consciousness. Spiritual and transcendent emotions often find their fullest expression in dreams, where the impossible becomes possible and symbolic representation allows for experiences that transcend ordinary reality. Dreams of flying, of encountering divine or sacred presences, or of experiencing unity with nature or the cosmos reflect the human capacity for transcendent emotion and meaning-making. The emotional orchestra also plays complex compositions around themes of mortality and meaning. Dreams about death, whether your own or that of others, often explore your deepest questions about the meaning and purpose of life. These dreams can be profoundly transformative, helping you clarify your values, priorities, and understanding of what truly matters in your existence. As the emotional orchestra continues its nightly performance, weaving feelings through the fabric of your dreams, it creates experiences that are uniquely yours, yet also universally human. The emotions that conduct your dreams connect you to the deepest aspects of your own psyche while also linking you to the shared emotional heritage of humanity. Every dreamer throughout history has experienced this same emotional orchestration, this same transformation of feeling into narrative, this same alchemy that turns the raw material of emotion into the gold of meaningful experience. As you rest there now, perhaps feeling the gentle pull of your own approaching dreams, trust that your emotional orchestra is preparing to create exactly the experiences you need. Whatever emotions you carry from your day, joy or sorrow, excitement or anxiety, love or loneliness, will be woven into dream narratives that serve your psychological growth and well-being. The music your emotions will play in your dreams will be composed specifically for you, designed to help you process, heal, grow, and discover new depths of your own emotional landscape. As your dreams deepen and the emotional orchestra continues its nightly performance, another remarkable system within your sleeping brain begins to create what can only be described as a visual symphony, a stunning display of imagery, color, movement, and form that rivals anything you could ever experience with your waking eyes. This visual symphony emerges from the extraordinary ability of your brain to generate complex, detailed, often impossible imagery without any input from the external world, creating experiences that can be more vivid, more beautiful, and more emotionally powerful than anything your eyes have ever actually seen. Your visual cortex, that region at the back of your brain normally dedicated to processing the images that flow through your open eyes, undergoes a remarkable transformation during REM sleep. No longer receiving input from your closed eyes, these visual processing centers begin to activate spontaneously, creating images from pure neural activity. But this isn't random visual noise. It's a sophisticated, coordinated process that generates the rich, detailed imagery that populates your dreams. The visual symphony begins with your primary visual cortex, the most basic level of visual processing in your brain. Even though your eyes are closed and no light is reaching your retinas, this area begins to create patterns of activity that your brain interprets as visual experiences. These initial visual elements might be simple, points of light, basic shapes, fundamental colors, but they provide the foundation upon which more complex dream imagery will be built. As the visual symphony develops, secondary visual processing areas begin to contribute their specialized capabilities to the emerging dream imagery. The region responsible for processing motion begins to create the sense of movement that characterizes so many dreams. The feeling of walking through landscapes, flying through the air, or watching objects and people move through dream space. The area specialized for color processing infuses your dreams with hues that can be more vivid and saturated than any colors you've ever seen in waking life. Your brain's face processing centers become particularly active during the visual symphony of dreams, generating the detailed, often emotionally expressive faces that populate your dream narratives. These faces might be exact representations of people you know, composite figures that blend features from multiple real people, or entirely fictional faces created from your brain's vast database of facial features and expressions. The emotional significance of these dream faces is often enhanced beyond what you might experience when seeing the same people in waking life. The regions responsible for object recognition contribute to the visual symphony by creating the countless items, tools, buildings, and environments that fill your dreams. Your brain draws upon its enormous library of visual memories to construct dream objects, but it doesn't simply replay recorded images. Instead, it creatively combines and transforms visual elements, creating objects that might be familiar yet somehow different, or entirely new items that nonetheless feel completely believable within the dream context. Spatial processing centers work to create the three-dimensional environments in which your dreams unfold. These dream spaces can be remarkably detailed and architecturally complex, complete with proper perspective, realistic lighting, and convincing spatial relationships. Sometimes these environments are accurate recreations of real places you know, but often they're hybrid spaces that combine elements from multiple locations or entirely fictional environments that feel mysteriously familiar. The visual symphony demonstrates remarkable creativity in how it generates impossible imagery that nonetheless feels completely natural within the dream context. You might see colors that don't exist in the physical world, witness transformations that defy the laws of physics, or observe scenarios where multiple perspectives are somehow experienced simultaneously. Your brain creates these impossible images not through error or confusion, but as sophisticated visual metaphors that represent complex psychological and emotional states. Memory and visual processing interweave in fascinating ways during the visual symphony of dreams. Your brain accesses visual memories from throughout your life, but doesn't simply replay them as originally experienced. Instead, visual elements from different memories are extracted, combined, and transformed to create new images that serve the emotional and narrative needs of the current dream. A childhood bedroom might appear in your dream, but with elements from your current home seamlessly integrated, creating a space that feels both familiar and mysteriously different. The emotional content of your dreams profoundly influences the character of the visual symphony. Fear might manifest as dark, threatening imagery with sharp edges and looming shadows. Joy might create bright, expansive landscapes filled with warm light and beautiful colors. Love might generate images of embracing figures, heart symbols, or environments that feel safe and nurturing. The visual elements of your dreams aren't just decorative. They're integral expressions of the emotional content being processed. Symbolic imagery plays a crucial role in the visual symphony of dreams. Your brain creates visual symbols that represent abstract concepts, emotions, and psychological states in concrete, experiential form. Water might symbolize emotions or the unconscious mind, appearing as calm lakes, turbulent oceans, or gentle streams, depending on your emotional state. Houses often represent the self, with different rooms corresponding to different aspects of your personality or life experience. The visual symphony also demonstrates remarkable ability to create narrative imagery that tells stories through pictures. A sequence of visual scenes might unfold that represents your psychological journey through a challenge, your emotional process of coming to terms with a loss, or your creative exploration of new possibilities. These visual narratives often communicate meanings that would be difficult or impossible to express through words alone. Lighting and atmosphere in dream imagery often carry profound emotional and symbolic significance. The quality of light in your dreams, whether harsh or soft, bright or dim, colored or white, reflects and amplifies the emotional tone of the dream experience. Golden light might represent wisdom, hope, or spiritual insight. Blue light might suggest calm, sadness, or introspection. Red light might indicate passion, anger, or urgency. The atmospheric qualities of dream imagery help create the emotional context within which dream narratives unfold. The visual symphony includes remarkable details that demonstrate the sophistication of your brain's image generation capabilities. Dream environments might include accurate architectural details, realistic textures, appropriate shadows and reflections, and convincing interactions between light and surfaces. These details contribute to the sense of reality that makes dreams feel so convincing while you're experiencing them. Movement and transformation are particularly striking aspects of the visual symphony in dreams. Objects and people might transform fluidly from one form to another, representing psychological changes or emotional transitions. Environments might shift and morph around you, reflecting internal states of change and growth. The ability to create these smooth transformations demonstrates the flexibility and creativity of your brain's visual processing systems. The visual symphony also creates what researchers call dream bizarreness, visual elements that violate the normal rules of physics, logic, or possibility. People might have multiple faces simultaneously, objects might be larger on the inside than the outside, or scenes might blend multiple locations into impossible architectural combinations. These bizarre visual elements often represent psychological truths or emotional realities that can't be expressed through realistic imagery. Color symbolism adds another layer of meaning to the visual symphony of dreams. Different colors often carry emotional and psychological associations that enhance the meaning of dream imagery. Green might represent growth, healing, or nature. Purple might suggest mystery, spirituality, or transformation. Black might indicate the unknown, fear, or potential. The specific colors that appear in your dreams are often chosen by your unconscious mind to amplify the emotional and symbolic content of the dream experience. The scale and proportion of objects in dream imagery often reflects their psychological importance rather than their physical reality. Something that's emotionally significant might appear much larger than it would in real life, while less important elements might appear diminished or fade into the background. This scaling, based on emotional significance, helps direct your attention to the most psychologically relevant aspects of the dream narrative. The visual symphony also includes remarkable representations of impossible perspectives and viewpoints. You might simultaneously see a scene from multiple angles, experience yourself from both first-person and third-person perspectives, or observe events that you couldn't physically witness from your position within the dream. These impossible viewpoints often represent your mind's ability to see situations from multiple perspectives or to gain insights that transcend normal limitations. Texture and tactile visual qualities add richness to the dream imagery symphony. Surfaces might appear rough or smooth, hard or soft, warm or cool, even though you're experiencing them visually rather than through touch. This cross-sensory visual processing demonstrates how your brain integrates different types of sensory information to create rich, multidimensional dream experiences. The visual symphony reaches perhaps its most profound expression in dreams that contain what many describe as spiritual or transcendent imagery. These might include visions of light that seems to contain consciousness, landscapes of impossible beauty that evoke feelings of unity and peace, or geometric patterns that seem to represent fundamental truths about existence. Such imagery often leaves lasting impressions that can influence your waking life for years afterward. As the visual symphony continues to unfold in your dreams, creating image after image of stunning complexity and emotional power, it demonstrates one of the most remarkable capabilities of human consciousness: the ability to generate rich, meaningful experiences entirely from internal neural activity. Each image in your dreams is a testament to the extraordinary creative power of your sleeping mind, the sophisticated integration of memory, emotion, and imagination that makes you uniquely human. As you drift deeper into your own visual symphony tonight, trust that your brain will create exactly the imagery you need to see. Images that will help you process your experiences, explore your emotions, and discover new aspects of yourself and your world. The pictures that will unfold behind your closed eyes will be painted specifically for you, created from the vast palette of your own memories, emotions, and imagination, designed to serve your deepest psychological and spiritual needs. Deep within the theater of your dreaming mind, as the visual symphony continues to paint impossible worlds behind your closed eyes, another profound process begins to unfold, a mysterious and beautiful dance performed by your memories themselves. This is memory's midnight dance, a choreographed performance where experiences from throughout your entire life begin to move together in patterns that would seem chaotic to your waking mind, but follow a deeper logic that serves the essential work of psychological integration, emotional healing, and wisdom formation. Your hippocampus, the seahorse-shaped structure that serves as your brain's primary memory center, becomes the conductor of this midnight dance. But during dreams, it doesn't simply retrieve memories as faithful recordings of past events. Instead, it begins to extract elements from different memories, emotional tones from one experience, visual details from another, people from a third, sensations from a fourth, and allows these elements to recombine in entirely new configurations that serve the needs of your dreaming consciousness. The dance begins gently, with recent memories from the day just past taking the first steps onto the stage of your dream consciousness. But these memories don't appear in their original form. Instead, they're transformed, stylized, and abstracted, like dancers who take familiar movements and reshape them into something entirely new. A conversation you had at work might become a dance with characters from your childhood. A problem you encounter during the day might transform into a quest or adventure that spans impossible landscapes. As the dance deepens, memories from weeks, months, and years ago begin to join the performance. But they don't simply replay their original choreography. Instead, they begin to interact with recent memories in ways that reveal hidden connections and patterns. Your brain might blend a memory of learning to ride a bicycle as a child with recent experiences of facing new challenges, creating a dream narrative that explores themes of courage, persistence, and growth that span decades of your life. The emotional memories are particularly active dancers in this midnight performance. They move through your dream consciousness, carrying the feelings and significance of past experiences, but not bound to their original contexts. The feeling of triumph from scoring a goal in childhood might dance together with the satisfaction of completing a difficult project last week, creating a dream experience that amplifies and celebrates your capacity for achievement and success. Memory's midnight dance also includes what neuroscientists call memory reconsolidation, the process by which retrieved memories are updated and changed based on current knowledge and emotional states. In dreams, this process takes on a particularly creative and therapeutic character. Traumatic or difficult memories might be revisited in dream form, but transformed in ways that reduce their emotional impact or reveal new perspectives that promote healing and integration. The dance creates what researchers call temporal compression, where experiences from vastly different time periods in your life are compressed into single dream scenarios. You might find yourself in your childhood home, but as your current adult self, having a conversation with your deceased grandmother who somehow also knows about recent events in your life. These temporally impossible encounters allow for types of psychological processing that couldn't occur within the linear constraints of waking consciousness. Your procedural memories, the memories of how to do things rather than specific events, join the dance in their own unique way. Skills you learned years ago might blend with recent learning experiences, creating dreams where you're performing activities with impossible combinations of expertise. You might dream about playing a musical instrument you haven't touched in decades, while simultaneously demonstrating skills you've only recently acquired, creating hybrid competencies that exist only in the dream world. The dance includes remarkable performances by what psychologists call implicit memories, memories that influence your behavior and emotions without your conscious awareness. These hidden memories emerge in dreams as atmospheres, feelings, and intuitive responses that color your dream experiences. A vague sense of unease in a dream might stem from an implicit memory of a challenging experience you can't consciously recall, while a feeling of safety and warmth might arise from implicit memories of early nurturing experiences. Episodic memories, specific events from your personal history, perform elaborate ballets in your dreams, often partnering with completely unrelated events to create new narratives. Your high school graduation might dance with your first day at a new job, creating a dream story about transitions and new beginnings that draws emotional significance for both experiences while creating insights that neither memory alone could provide. The midnight dance also features semantic memories, your general knowledge about the world, as they blend with personal experiences to create dream scenarios that are both educational and emotionally meaningful. Your knowledge about historical events might combine with personal memories to create dreams where you witness or participate in historical moments, often with emotional and psychological significance that relates to your current life circumstances. Memories dance in dreams serves crucial functions for psychological development and emotional maturity. By allowing memories from different life stages to interact, dreams help you integrate your past experiences into a coherent sense of identity. The shy child you once were might have dream conversations with the confident adult you've become, facilitating the psychological integration that supports healthy self-concept and personal growth. The dance also performs important work in processing unresolved emotions and experiences. Memories that carry difficult feelings might be partnered with memories of strength, support, or resolution, allowing for emotional healing that couldn't occur through conscious effort alone. A memory of feeling rejected might dance with a memory of being deeply loved, creating a dream experience that helps balance and heal old emotional wounds. Cultural and collective memories also join the midnight dance, as your personal experiences blend with stories, myths, and cultural narratives that you've absorbed throughout your life. You might dream about participating in fairy tales, religious stories, or cultural legends, with these collective narratives providing frameworks for understanding and processing your personal experiences. The dance demonstrates remarkable creativity in how it solves the challenge of memory storage and organization. Your brain contains more memories than could ever be consciously accessed, and dreams provide a way to maintain and strengthen the connections between related memories. By allowing memories to dance together based on emotional themes, symbolic meanings, or psychological significance rather than chronological order, dreams help maintain the rich, interconnected web of associations that makes human memory so powerful and meaningful. Memory rehearsal takes on a special character in the midnight dance. Instead of simply repeating memories to strengthen them, dreams allow memories to practice new choreography, exploring different emotional interpretations, alternative outcomes, and varied perspectives. A memory of a difficult conversation might be rehearsed in dream form with different emotional responses, helping you develop new ways of thinking about and responding to similar situations in the future. The dance also serves important functions for creative problem-solving and insight generation. When memories from different domains of your life dance together, they can reveal connections and solutions that wouldn't be apparent through logical analysis. A memory of how you solve a problem in one area of your life might partner with a current challenge, leading to innovative approaches that draw wisdom from past experiences in unexpected ways. False memories can also join the dance, as your brain creates new memories by blending elements from real experiences with imagination and emotional content. These false memories aren't errors or malfunctions. They're creative constructions that often carry psychological truth, even if they're not historically accurate. A dream memory of a conversation that never actually happened might nonetheless capture the emotional essence of a relationship in ways that help you understand its deeper dynamics. The midnight dance includes sophisticated performances by what researchers call memory schemas, the mental frameworks you use to organize and understand your experiences. These schemas dance with specific memories, helping to extract general principles and life lessons from particular events. Your schema for overcoming challenges might dance with various specific memories of difficult situations you've navigated, strengthening your general sense of resilience and capability. Childhood memories often take center stage in the midnight dance, as they carry the emotional intensity and formative significance that make them particularly important for ongoing psychological development. These early memories might dance with recent experiences, helping you understand how your past continues to influence your present and offering opportunities for healing and growth that span your entire lifetime. The dance creates what psychologists call meaning-making narratives, coherent stories about your life that help explain who you are, where you've come from, and where you're going. By allowing memories to dance together in new configurations, dreams help you continuously update and refine your understanding of your own life story, integrating new experiences with established patterns of meaning and identity. As memory's midnight dance continues throughout your sleeping hours, it performs the essential work of transforming the raw material of experience into the refined gold of wisdom, insight, and psychological integration. Each dance sequence serves specific functions for your emotional well-being, creative development, and ongoing growth as a conscious being. As you rest there now, perhaps feeling the gentle currents of your own memories beginning to stir and move in preparation for their nightly dance. Trust that this ancient process will serve your deepest needs for healing, growth, and understanding. The memories that will dance in your dreams tonight will move together in exactly the patterns you need, creating new connections, healing old wounds, and weaving the experiences of your life into ever-richer tapestries of meaning and wisdom. As the night deepens and your dreams continue their intricate work of emotional processing, visual creation, and memory integration, something even more profound begins to emerge from the depths of your sleeping consciousness. You are approaching what can only be called the deeper dream layers, those mysterious regions of dream experience that touch upon the most fundamental aspects of human existence, consciousness, and spiritual understanding. These are the dreams that transcend personal experience and connect you to something larger than yourself. The dreams that carry the weight of universal human concerns, and the dreams that sometimes leave you forever changed by their profound beauty and meaning. In these deeper layers, your dreaming mind begins to access what the psychologist Carl Jung called the collective unconscious, those archetypal patterns and universal symbols that appear in the dreams and myths of people across all cultures and throughout human history. Your personal memories and emotions, which have been the primary material for your earlier dreams, now begin to blend with these deeper, more universal patterns of human experience. You might find yourself dreaming of figures that seem to represent fundamental aspects of human nature: the wise old woman or man, the innocent child, the powerful warrior, the nurturing mother, or the transformative trickster. These archetypal figures don't appear in your dreams as abstract concepts, but as vivid, emotionally powerful presences that seem to carry wisdom and significance far beyond their surface appearance. When you encounter such figures in your deep dreams, you're not just meeting characters in a personal narrative. You're connecting with patterns of meaning that have guided human understanding for millennia. A dream conversation with a wise elder might provide insights that seem to come from beyond your personal knowledge and experience. The deeper dream layers also include what many traditions have recognized as prophetic or precognitive elements. Dreams that seem to provide glimpses of future possibilities or insights into situations that haven't yet fully unfolded in your waking life. While the mechanisms behind such experiences remain mysterious, they suggest that in the deepest layers of dream consciousness, your mind may access forms of information processing that transcend the normal limitations of time and space. Spiritual and mystical experiences often emerge in these deeper dream layers, as your consciousness temporarily transcends the boundaries of ordinary awareness. You might dream of experiencing unity with the cosmos, communicating with divine or transcendent beings, or witnessing truths about the nature of existence that feel more real and significant than anything in your waking life. These spiritual dreams can provide profound comfort, guidance, and transformation that influences your waking consciousness for years or even decades afterward. The deeper layers often include what researchers call big dreams, particularly vivid, emotionally powerful, and symbolically rich dreams that feel fundamentally different from ordinary dream experiences. These dreams often deal with major life transitions, spiritual awakening, or encounters with mortality and meaning. They might occur during times of significant change or challenge in your life, providing guidance, reassurance, or new perspectives that help you navigate difficult passages. Creative inspiration reaches its peak in these deeper dream layers, where the usual constraints of logical thinking are most completely suspended and the most innovative connections can form. Many breakthrough discoveries, artistic creations, and innovative solutions to complex problems have emerged from these deep dream states. The unique consciousness of deep dreaming, with its ability to synthesize information in novel ways and perceive patterns invisible to waking awareness, creates ideal conditions for creative breakthroughs. Healing dreams often emerge from these deeper layers, providing not just psychological, but sometimes even physical healing effects. These might include dreams of encountering healing figures, experiencing profound forgiveness or reconciliation, or receiving symbolic medicine that seems to address illness or injury at levels deeper than ordinary medical intervention can reach. The placebo effect and the mind-body connection suggest that such healing dreams may indeed have real therapeutic value. The deeper dream layers include experiences of what many traditions call soul retrieval, dreams in which lost or wounded aspects of yourself are recovered and reintegrated. These might manifest as dreams of finding lost children, representing innocence or playfulness, rescuing abandoned animals, representing instinctual wisdom, or discovering hidden treasures, representing untapped potential or forgotten talents. Such dreams often mark important stages in psychological development and healing. Initiation dreams represent another profound category within the deeper layers, dreams that mark transitions from one stage of life to another. These might involve symbolic death and rebirth, trials and challenges that test your character and resolve, or encounters with figures who bestow new knowledge, abilities, or responsibilities. Initiation dreams often correspond with major life transitions and can provide the psychological preparation needed to embrace new roles and identities. The deeper layers also include visitation dreams, experiences of encountering deceased, loved ones that feel fundamentally different from ordinary dreams about people who have died. In visitation dreams, the encounter often feels more real than waking reality, with the deceased person appearing healthy, peaceful, and possessed of a wisdom or perspective that provides comfort, closure, or guidance. While the nature of such experiences remains mysterious, they consistently provide profound healing and peace to those who experience them. Teaching dreams emerge from these deeper layers as well. Dreams in which you receive instruction, guidance, or knowledge that seems to come from sources beyond your personal understanding. You might dream of attending classes taught by wise teachers, receiving books or scrolls containing important information, or having complex concepts explained to you in ways that expand your understanding far beyond what you consciously knew before the dream. The deeper dream layers often include experiences of what mystics have called cosmic consciousness, temporary expansions of awareness that allow you to perceive reality from vastly enlarged perspectives. In such dreams, you might experience yourself as part of the vast web of life, understand the interconnectedness of all existence, or gain insights into the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. These experiences can be profoundly transformative, permanently altering your understanding of yourself and your place in the universe. Shadow integration represents another crucial function of the deeper dream layers. Carl Jung's concept of a shadow, those aspects of ourselves that we've rejected, denied, or hidden, often emerges in deep dreams as characters or situations that challenge us to acknowledge and integrate these disowned parts of our psyche. Shadow dreams might be disturbing or frightening, but they serve the essential function of helping us become more complete and authentic human beings. Threshold dreams mark experiences of standing at the boundaries between different states of consciousness, different life phases, or different levels of understanding. These dreams often take place in liminal spaces, doorways, bridges, shorelines, or other boundary locations that represent transitions and transformations. Threshold dreams help prepare your psyche for significant changes and provide the courage needed to cross into new territories of experience. The deeper layers include experiences of what some call soul travel or astral projection, dreams in which you seem to separate from your physical body and travel to distant locations or different dimensions of reality. While the objective reality of such experiences remains debated, they consistently provide profound expansion of consciousness and often include encounters with other beings or access to information that couldn't be obtained through ordinary means. Lucid dreaming reaches its most profound expression in these deeper layers, with a realization that your dreaming doesn't simply allow you to control the dream narrative, but opens doorways to conscious exploration of the deepest mysteries of consciousness itself. In deeply lucid dreams, you might consciously explore questions about the nature of reality, death, love, or existence, receiving insights that feel more authoritative than anything your waking mind could generate. Compensation dreams emerge from the deeper layers to provide balance and perspective that your waking consciousness might be lacking. If your waking life has become too focused on material concerns, you might have deeply spiritual dreams. If you become overly intellectual, you might have dreams that reconnect you with emotion and intuition. These compensatory dreams help maintain psychological balance and prevent your development from becoming too one-sided. The deeper dream layers also include experiences of what might be called cosmic memory, dreams that seem to access information about human history, natural processes, or universal patterns that extends far beyond your personal knowledge or experience. You might dream of ancient civilizations, future possibilities, or ecological processes with a detail and accuracy that surprises your waking mind. Integration dreams represent perhaps the most important function of the deeper layers, experiences that help synthesize and integrate all the growth, healing, and insight you've gained through both your dream experiences and your waking life. These dreams often feature symbols of wholeness, completion, and unity, and they frequently mark the successful resolution of long-standing psychological conflicts or the achievement of new levels of maturity and wisdom. As you drift deeper into your own sleep tonight, approaching these profound layers of dream experience, trust that your consciousness will access exactly the depths it needs to explore. Whether you encounter archetypal figures, spiritual insights, creative breakthroughs, or healing visions, know that these experiences emerge from the deepest wisdom of your own psyche, designed to serve your highest growth and understanding. The deeper dream layers await you with their mysteries and treasures, ready to provide whatever profound experiences your soul needs for its continued evolution and awakening. In these depths, you join the countless dreamers throughout history who have found guidance, healing, inspiration, and transformation in the remarkable depths of human consciousness that dreams alone can reveal. As the night slowly turns toward morning and your journey through the landscapes of dream consciousness begins to near its end, something beautiful and bittersweet begins to unfold within your sleeping mind. This is dawn's dream farewell, that gentle, gradual process by which your brain begins to shift from the magical realm of dreams back toward the familiar territory of waking consciousness. Like actors taking their final bows on a theater stage before the curtain falls, your dreams begin their slow retreat from the spotlight of awareness, leaving behind only traces of their profound beauty and meaning. The process of awakening from dreams is as complex and fascinating as the process of entering them, but it unfolds in reverse, like watching a movie played backward. The deeper dream layers, with their archetypal figures and spiritual insights, are the first to fade, retreating into the depths of your unconscious like ancient spirits returning to their sacred caves. The profound connections to universal human experience and cosmic consciousness that may have filled your deepest dreams begin to dissolve, leaving behind only whispered echoes of their transformative presence. Your brain chemistry begins to shift as morning approaches, preparing for the return of waking consciousness. The neurotransmitters that have been suppressed during REM sleep, particularly norepinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine, begin their gradual return to active levels. These chemicals, so essential for logical thinking, focused attention, and emotional regulation during waking hours, start to reassert their influence over your neural networks, slowly dismantling the chemical conditions that made dreams possible. Acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that has been orchestrating your dream experiences throughout the night, begins to reduce its activity as your final REM periods come to an end. This reduction isn't abrupt. It's a gentle tapering off that allows the vivid, often bizarre world of dreams to fade gradually rather than disappearing suddenly. As acetylcholine levels decline, the hyper-associative thinking that characterizes dreams gives way to the more linear, logical thought patterns of waking consciousness. Your prefrontal cortex, that region of critical thinking and rational analysis that stepped back during dreams to allow impossible narratives to unfold, begins to stir from its nighttime rest. Like a theater critic who has been quietly observing from the back of the auditorium, your prefrontal cortex starts to reassert its editorial oversight, gradually reimposing the logical constraints that will characterize your waking thoughts. This return of logical oversight is what makes dreams seem so strange and impossible when you try to remember them with your waking mind. The visual symphony that has been painting impossible worlds behind your closed eyes begins to quiet its instruments and pack away its ethereal brushes. Your visual cortex starts to prepare for the return of external visual input, shifting from its role as creator of dream imagery to its familiar function as processor of the light that will soon enter your opening eyes. The vivid, often surreal imagery of dreams begins to fade like morning mist, leaving behind only fragments and impressions of the visual feast your brain has been creating. Memory consolidation processes reach their completion as dawn approaches, with the night's work of sorting, integrating, and storing experiences coming to its natural conclusion. The memories that have been dancing together throughout your dreams settle into their new configurations, some strengthened by their nocturnal rehearsal, others transformed by their interactions with different memories, and still others gently released as no longer needed. The wisdom and insights generated by these memory interactions are integrated into your broader understanding, ready to serve you in your waking life. The emotional orchestra that has been conducting the feeling tones of your dreams begins to quiet its performance as morning light approaches. The intense emotions that may have characterized your dream experiences, whether joy, fear, love, or wonder, start to settle into the more moderate emotional landscape of waking consciousness. But the emotional work accomplished during dreams doesn't disappear. It becomes part of your psychological foundation, contributing to your emotional resilience and maturity. Your motor cortex, which has been generating movement commands for your dream adventures while your body remains safely paralyzed, begins to re-establish connection with your muscles. The paralysis that protected you from acting out your dreams gradually lifts, allowing you to regain control over your physical body. You might notice small movements beginning, a shift of position, a stretching of limbs, or subtle changes in breathing that mark the return of conscious motor control. As dreams begin their farewell, they often become more fragmented and fleeting. The coherent narratives and vivid experiences of deeper sleep give way to brief, disconnected images and sensations. Like a radio station fading out of range, dream content becomes increasingly unclear and intermittent as your brain transitions between the neural states of sleeping and waking consciousness. Temperature regulation begins to shift as well, as your body prepares for the activity and environmental awareness of waking life. Your core body temperature, which reached its lowest point during deep sleep, starts its gradual rise toward normal waking levels. This warming process helps prepare your body for the metabolic demands of consciousness and activity, while also signaling to your brain that the time for sleep's restorative work is coming to an end. The glymphatic system that has been cleaning your brain throughout the night begins to reduce its intensive activity as morning approaches. The spaces between brain cells start to return to their normal daytime size, and the flow of cerebrospinal fluid begins to slow. The waste products and toxins that have been washed away during sleep leave your brain refreshed and optimized for another day of conscious activity. This cleaning work, invisible to your awareness, has prepared your mind for optimal cognitive function. Growth hormone production, which peaked during your deep sleep hours, begins to taper off as your body's most intensive repair work reaches completion. The cellular restoration, tissue rebuilding, and regenerative processes that have been occurring throughout the night are finalized, leaving your body renewed and strengthened. Every system has been maintained, repaired, and optimized during your sleep, preparing you for whatever challenges and opportunities the new day might bring. Your circadian rhythm, that internal clock that has been orchestrating your sleep-wake cycle, begins to send the final signals that will complete your transition to waking consciousness. Light sensitivity increases, making you more responsive to the growing brightness of dawn. Cortisol levels continue their gradual rise, providing the energy and alertness you'll need for waking activity. Every aspect of your biology coordinates to ensure a smooth, natural awakening. As dreams prepare to take their leave, they often leave behind gifts, insights, perspectives, creative ideas, or emotional resolutions that will enrich your waking life. You might wake with the solution to a problem that puzzled you the day before, or with a new understanding of a relationship or situation in your life. These gifts from the dreaming mind represent some of the most valuable benefits of sleep, demonstrating how rest and renewal serve not just physical, but also psychological and spiritual needs. The transition from dreaming to waking often includes what researchers call hypnopompic experiences, brief moments where dream consciousness and waking awareness overlap. You might experience fleeting visual images, hear sounds that aren't there, or have momentary confusion about whether dream experiences were real. These transition experiences are normal and natural, representing your brain's gradual shift between very different modes of consciousness. Memory of dreams begins its own complex process as awakening approaches. Most dreams will fade quickly from memory, their ephemeral beauty dissolving like snow and sunshine. But some dreams, particularly those that carried strong emotional content or significant meaning, may linger in your awareness, available for conscious reflection and integration. The dreams that remain in memory often continue to influence your thoughts and feelings throughout the day, and sometimes for much longer. As the curtain slowly falls on the night's dream performance, there's often a sense of completion and satisfaction, even if you don't consciously remember the dreams you've experienced. Your brain knows that important work has been accomplished, emotions have been processed, memories have been integrated, creativity has been stimulated, and psychological growth has occurred. This unconscious satisfaction contributes to the sense of refreshment and renewal that characterizes good sleep. The final moments of the dream farewell often include a gentle gathering of dream threads into the depths of memory, where they will continue to influence your thoughts, emotions, and insights in ways you may never consciously realize. The profound work of dreams doesn't end when you wake up. It continues to unfold throughout your waking hours, subtly shaping your perceptions, enhancing your creativity, and contributing to your ongoing psychological development. As morning light grows stronger and your eyes prepare to open on a new day, the dreams that have accompanied you through the night complete their graceful departure. They leave behind a mind that has been refreshed, renewed, and subtly transformed by their visit. Every dream you've experienced, whether remembered or forgotten, has contributed something valuable to your psychological well-being and spiritual growth. And now, as you rest in these final moments before awakening, or perhaps as you settle into sleep at the beginning of your own dream journey, take comfort in knowing that this remarkable process awaits you. Every night, your consciousness will embark on adventures that are uniquely yours, yet also connect you to the universal human experience of dreaming. Every night, your brain will create worlds of impossible beauty, process emotions with perfect wisdom, and weave memories into new patterns of meaning and understanding. The dreams that come to you tonight will be exactly what you need, whether for healing, for growth, for creativity, or simply for the profound rest that allows your consciousness to renew itself. Trust in the ancient wisdom of your dreaming mind, knowing that it will take you exactly where you need to go, show you exactly what you need to see, and provide exactly the experiences that will serve your highest good. Sleep well, dream beautifully, and allow yourself to be carried into the mysterious realm where consciousness becomes pure creativity, where healing happens naturally, and where the deepest truths of existence reveal themselves in the gentle language of dreams. In this sacred space of sleep and dreams, you are always safe, always guided, and always loved by the infinite wisdom of your own dreaming mind. Sweet dreams, dear dreamer. May your night be filled with wonder, your dreams be touched with magic, and your awakening bring you the gifts of renewal, insight, and peace. The theater of your mind awaits, ready to present the most beautiful performance of all, the dreams that are yours alone, created by your consciousness, for your consciousness, in the endless mystery and beauty of the dreaming mind.